Try to solve this puzzle. You are trapped in a room with no windows. There is a door in the corner of the room, but it is locked. Cracks begin to appear in the walls, small at first, but then bigger and bigger. Water gushes out of the cracks, and soon you are feet deep in a pool of liquid. There is a pump with a danger meter next to you. If you can keep the danger meter at a green, then every hour supplies will be emitted through a small trap door. Things like wooden planks, tools, and fast-drying cement. With these supplies, you are able to fill up the cracks and avoid drowning. However, the meter begins to move back to red within seconds of reaching green. The flow of water is also too strong for the supplies to block it forever. Eventually, they give in, and you have to block the holes up again. Sometimes, cracks pop up in places that you didn't expect. You constantly have to go back and forth from either keeping the danger meter at green or blocking up the holes that seem to form everywhere. Sometimes, the meter reaches red because you were too busy trying to get to all the holes. When this happens, you receive no supplies for that hour. At this point, is it even possible to start planning how to get out of the room? The holes just keep growing and growing and growing. By now, you have forgotten that the door even exists. Is it possible to solve this problem alone? The answer is no. It is impossible to escape the room when you are at a constant risk of drowning. You simply do not have enough supplies to both close up the holes and break through the door. Escape is always just out of your reach. This may seem just like a pointless riddle, but it has a meaning. This situation represents the experience of a person in poverty. In 2014, 47 million people lived in poverty USA. Some of the causes for poverty are lack of education, underemployment of people with disabilities, addiction, and limited community resources. Inhabitants of poverty USA are defined as people who earn less per year than the federal poverty threshold. That is $12,000 for one person, $15,000 for two, $19,000 for three, and $24,000 for four. 7% of the population, or 21 million people, live in deep poverty and earn about half of their poverty thresholds. 33% of the population, or 105 million people, live close to poverty, earning a little over their poverty threshold. Everybody on earth is a part of God's creation. All of us have a calling to care for this creation. We can show this love for humanity by standing up to the issue that is poverty. Each object in the room represents a different factor in poverty. The door represents Poverty USA, which is very hard to escape without help. The cracks in the walls are expenses that have to be paid. Things like rent, basic necessities, transportation, education, electricity, heating, cooling, and water. The pump and danger meter represent the responsibilities of a person in poverty. Millions of people who work full times, a lot of time balancing more than one job, still only earn wages under the poverty threshold. Many people in poverty work at minimum wage jobs, which do not provide sick leave. The only way that poor people can escape Poverty USA is through the help of charitable organizations and social justice groups. The Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, is one of the largest domestic hunger programs in the country. It provides economic benefits to communities and national assistance to thousands of poor families. Medicare and Social Security pay for health care expenses and prescription drugs for millions of elderly people in poverty. The National School Lunch Program has served 224 billion lunches from its founding in 1946 to 2014 and has helped 31.6 million children by providing them with healthy lunches every day. These are all examples of charitable works companies, groups that provide temporary relief for people in poverty. They show care for God's creation by providing the poor with resources that they need to continue providing for themselves and their families. However, they cannot fix the problem on their own. Even with assistance, people in poverty continue to struggle. In 2014, 61% of people in food-insecure households reported participating in a major food program, which includes SNAP, the month before. The only way to truly get rid of poverty is with social justice. The CCHD is an example of a social justice organization. It works to end the issue that is poverty by funding nonprofit organizations, educating others about the issue of poverty, and helping the poor to become independent enough to be able to take care of themselves. Charitable works provide support for people in poverty, and social justice works to protect the dignity and lives of God's children. Together, we can care for God's creation by volunteering, spreading the word about poverty, and donating to charity. The CCHD and other social justice organizations do not just offer handouts to the poor, they offer a hand up out of Poverty USA.